The man was cleaning up the battlefield when he suddenly heard crying behind him. He went over to investigate and found a little girl hiding in the trench. Tom slowly walked up to the girl. She was terrified, gripping her mother's hand tightly and not letting go. What she didn't know was that her mother had already left her forever. Tom instantly felt a wave of pity. He stretched out his arms and told the little girl that he would take her somewhere safe. But because they didn't speak the same language, the girl had no idea what he was saying. However, she could still feel the kindness in his gestures. Eventually, the little girl threw herself into Tom's arms, crying uncontrollably. When his comrades saw him holding the child, they were all very surprised. Even though she was from an enemy country, they all expressed their willingness to take in the homeless child. From that moment on, the little girl clung to Tom. Wherever he went, she would follow him. But the battlefield was always full of danger. Tom was injured by an artillery shell while trying to protect the girl. He only lost consciousness after he saw that the girl was unharmed. 2 days later, Tom woke up. During that time, the little girl had been guarding him by his bedside. As soon as she saw Tom wake up, she smiled with relief. Soon after, the army held a commendation ceremony. The commander praised Tom for his bravery and allowed him to take care of the girl. Though they couldn't understand each other's language, the little girl could feel Tom's fatherly love. Since Tom's rough hands couldn't properly comb the girl's hair, the thoughtful little girl decided to cut her long hair off herself. Tom named the girl Emma. Since Emma didn't speak Turkish, she remained silent for a long time. But every day Tom took time to teach her the language. Gradually, Emma became more cheerful, bringing much-needed joy to the soldiers' monotonous training life. As Emma learned more words, she began to open her heart to Tom.
Baba.
When she called him Dad, Tom was both surprised and overjoyed. He had already come to think of Emma as his own daughter. Emma's presence was like a light in the darkness of Tom's lonely and grim life. They would go shopping together, eat delicious food, and dance together. Emma even managed to get a signed photo from Marilyn Monroe, who came to perform for the troops. But happy times, like a kite in the sky, gradually slipped further away. The support troops had been in Korea for a year, and the first batch of soldiers were scheduled to return home. The soldiers said their goodbyes to Emma, not knowing when or if they would ever meet again. To take care of Emma, Tom decided to stay behind as a volunteer soldier. But when his fiancée heard about this, she was furious. Their wedding plans were cancelled. Tom wasn't sure if his decision was the right one, but he knew Emma needed him, and he had to take on the responsibility of being a father. Then unexpected news came. Due to changes in the battlefield situation, the troops were ordered to evacuate. The commander planned to send Emma to a local orphanage. Though Tom was extremely reluctant, he knew it was the best option for Emma's safety. When Emma entered the classroom, she was immediately drawn to the sound of a piano. It was playing the Turkish national anthem.
Eğer bu marşı iyi öğrenir, herkesten güzel okursan, senin hep gurur duyarım, tamam mı?
But before Tom could say a final goodbye to Emma, she had already slipped out of his embrace. Wanting to make her father proud, Emma eagerly wanted to learn the song. At that moment, Tom couldn't hold back his tears. He watched Emma, not willing to leave, and as he saw her settle into a new home, he turned away helplessly, heartbroken. Perhaps Emma sensed her father's tears or felt that he was about to leave her. Emma cried, pleading with her father not to abandon her. Tom promised her that he would never leave and decided to take her back to Turkey. When they returned to their quarters, Tom took a knife and made a small hole in the suitcase, planning to hide Emma in it. As long as they passed security, they would be able to board the ship home. Although the staff noticed something unusual about the suitcase, he didn't say anything and let Tom go. But just as Tom felt relieved, the orphanage director chased after him, and the suitcase was opened in front of everyone. Tom's plan to take Emma back home was completely thwarted. With no other choice, Tom said his final goodbye to Emma, promising that once the war was over, he would return to get her. They would never be apart again. But as Tom stood to leave, Emma felt as though her heart was breaking. In a time of war with poor communication, neither father nor daughter knew when they would meet again. Perhaps they would never have the chance to reunite. When Tom returned to Turkey, he found that his fiancée hadn't come to greet him. He learned from friends that she had become engaged to another man. Tom was deeply angry. He went to confront his fiancée, hoping to clear things up. However, she accused him of being unfaithful, saying he had jeopardized their engagement for the sake of a stranger's child. Perhaps, in Tom's heart, she was nowhere near as important as that little girl. His fiancée's departure hit him hard. Heartbroken, he listened to his parents' advice and married a woman with whom he had no emotional connection. He searched tirelessly for Emma, but there was no news. His wife, however, was understanding and never complained despite being neglected. She knew her husband's heart was still with the little girl in a foreign land. She promised to help him search for Emma.
Biz evliyiz artık. İzin ver sana yardım edeyim. Senin kızın benim kızım. Senin sözün benim sözüm.
They traveled far and wide, but after several months they had no leads. The embassy sadly informed them that the war was still ongoing, and with the current communication conditions, it was difficult to reach out to the other side. Tom felt utterly helpless. Even his own country couldn't help, but his wife remained by his side, supporting him. She encouraged him not to give up. One day they would find Emma. Time passed and 50 years quickly went by. Tom, now an old man with white hair, never stopped thinking about Emma. He didn't know how much longer his aging body could hold up. He didn't want to die with regret. In a daze, he thought he saw Emma standing before him. He knew it was just a hallucination caused by his longing, but perhaps even God was moved by his devotion. The next day, his wife received a call from the embassy. Some journalists had taken an interest in Emma's story. They decided to help Tom find Emma and make a documentary about it. Upon hearing the news, hope reignited in Tom's heart. Finally, he had a chance to see Emma again. After relentless effort, the journalists finally discovered Emma's whereabouts. The staff quickly made arrangements for Tom and Emma to meet. He had waited for this day for so long. Now Emma too had grown old with white hair. She eagerly took the old photos that the journalists handed her. The photos captured the brief but happy moments she had spent with her father. No matter what, she would never forget the person who saved her life on that dark, helpless night. For so many years, she had only seen her father in her dreams. She had searched for him for 60 years. And it turned out, her father had been searching for her all along.
I'm at a payphone trying to call home. All of the change I spent on you. Where the times go, baby, it's all wrong. Where
아버지를 어떻게 잊을 수 있겠어?
for two. Yeah, I know it's
Finally, the moment they had both been waiting for arrived. Tom immediately recognized Emma. Despite the 60 years that had passed, in his heart, she was still the adorable little girl. In that moment, all the longing turned into tears of joy. A promise had been kept. They may not have spent much time together, but in a world full of war and chaos, they had built a lifelong father-daughter bond. This film is based on a true story, and the director left a special scene to pay tribute to the main character. The man, now an old man sitting in front of a bakery, was the real-life hero.